But then you have Dragon, who's got a 132.13, but he doesn't know the route, does he?
Well, and to be fair, Dragon's last race was a 128.50 in the tournament. So he just hasn't yet updated his PB time, and yeah, both races have been a little interesting from him in terms of kind of making up the route as he goes, not being super familiar with the category itself.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to see how he's going to improvise, or maybe if he's actually, put a little work into memorizing where he's got to go and what to do. But here they go.
Oh yes, we're going down to the beach, grab our sword, because literally nothing can be done without doing that. And already we see a divergence, very slight. Dragon's going to be going for a damage boost off of this Spiny to try to get early sword, which saves microscopic amounts of time.
Yeah, what WhiteWolfos is doing is still very quick, and might actually work out for her if her first spin slash here drops a rupee from that urchin. Hey, there it goes. So both runners here, they want to get 10 rupees before they enter the shop. And so they're going to be killing some enemies on the beach here, and by putting their shield out, they're going to try to get the rupee to land on both Link's hitbox as well as the shield's hitbox at the same time, thus collecting it twice and duping it. And
Dragon got the really good luck there with 8.
Yeah,
Wolfos
not
got
terrible.
stuck with 7.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the rupees are just falling like acorns for him.
Yeah, Dragon have amazing luck there in the bushes. So they're going to come here and try to get lucky by getting those last remaining rupees in the bushes and collecting a seashell here while they're at it. Wolfos, unfortunately, getting the polar opposite of Dragon here with some terrible luck. It's a 1 in 16 chance to get a rupee to drop from these bushes, and you'd think that would be good enough when there's this many things to cut on screen, but
the game doesn't like odds. We know
the game does not at all. The game likes to watch you suffer. Geez, so Dragon's already finished with his shop visit, and oh geez, finally some forgiveness from the game there for Wolfos. So Wolfos is stealing the shovel while Dragon is going to pay his 10 rupees at the trendy game to get the powder. Now, the reason Dragon still has his 10 rupees for the trendy game, which we'll see from Wolfos right after she dies here, is you can save and quit on the exact same frame that you buy the bombs, which is easier than it sounds, and you'll buy the bombs, but the rupees won't be deducted from your wallet. So it allows us to get the bombs without stealing them and risking another death, but still allowing us to keep the rupees for the trendy game. So Dragon now on his way, he's stopped in at the doghouse to grab an extra seashell, and now he's entering the mysterious woods. And we see him, he does a clever equip there, equipping the bombs, and he's able to then buffer the bombs through that transition, laying 2 in very close proximity to each other. And we see that the owl doesn't even fly in to talk to him. He just kind of talks to him from up in that top corner of the screen. So that's an early example of a really nice bomb trigger to save a couple seconds. And he's going for a second bomb trigger here to trigger transforming Terran back into a human without having to go over there and powder him and watch this whole little bouncing cutscene.
Oh. Okay. It appears that things are happening. Or not happening. Thank you for pointing that out, Sagas.
Hopefully SG can get that going.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, I hope that doesn't do anything horrible. So, Dragon's going to be going into Dungeon 1. We're going to go get a wonderful item, the Rock's Feather, as well as another seashell, and our first instrument. But Dragon gets caught by a little mini Zol, those evil jerks.
Doesn't lose them a lot of time, but one of those things that you just hate.
Oh, yes. Don't worry, the no sound is a tech difficulty. We're trying to let people know.
Also worth noting too that because we bomb trigger Terran like that and get to the tail key from that direction, we just save and quit immediately after opening the chest, which is really nice because it skips a really long owl cutscene that we would otherwise have to see in other categories.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Okay.
What's happening?
What did Dragon do?
Well, I don't know. He loaded a state. He has to restart.
Oh man. Well, that's
Wolfos
that's
now has a 6-minute lead.
yeah. Wow. Well, that makes things interesting right off the bat.
Oh yes.
So that is never something you want to see happen in a run. I mean, most of our runners do use emulator, and we don't see this happen often, but God, that's awful.
Oh yes. Although, why would it put him at Dungeon 3?
Must have just been whatever save state he had.
Oh. That is
I mean,
unfortunate. You hate to see it.
I was gonna say I didn't see the I didn't Wolfos for getting a
forgot
key
the
and
key.
dying, and actually the death is probably going to make that faster.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I didn't see the text show up at the bottom to say save state loaded on Dragon's End,
No, so
but
it's just his save file.
but his stream was lagging, so that may have happened and we didn't catch it. So
Well, he did get stopped up on the screen that Wolfos was on. Wolfos asking the hard question here: does she restart? I say, unfortunately, I don't think she should.
no, I don't think so. I think she should keep going. I mean, I suppose it would be up to our two runners. We do, it's not too far into the race.
Yeah. I get
But in all honesty, I think, it's possible for Dragon to catch up with a good race.
absolutely. If he plays his damn best, he has 5 minutes of buffer already. So
Okay, and Dragon wants her to keep going as well, so that's confirmation there.
all right. Eden? We use save states. It's basically a point in the game where we take a capture of where we were and we save it at that moment in time. So we use that to practice a lot. And if we have certain save states, it puts us back at two certain points whenever we open up a regular save file. So that apparently happened to Dragon since he was practicing something around D3 when he crashed. All right, it looks like we have at least background music.
And yeah, to answer chat, there's nothing wrong with our runners interacting with chat or listening to the restream or whatever. This is a vanilla race, so there's no sort of secret info that they could glean like the rando race.
Pullum, you'd never cheat. I believe in chat being completely fair and honest. Oh no, Wolfo's taking a fall.
That was a really good fight up until that point.
Yeah, at least it doesn't, kill her.
Oh yeah, and it's a very quick walk back.
Imagine if those are like Mega Man instant death spikes.
I don't want to. Don't give Cravone ideas.
It's too late. I think he's retired from ROM hacks. Please.
Oh, what a shame.
Oh, my heart weeps for the man who basically put a gun to my head and said, "No, you're gonna play Etrian Odyssey instead of continuing this ROM hack."
I'm sure you weren't complaining.
God, no. I was happy to get out of there. I do believe my last words in his ROM hack were, "No, I threw it all away. Only I've just censored myself." Alright, so Dragon's heading down to D1 now? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the gap has shortened a little bit. I mean, simply because Wolfos being aware of Dragon's issues and taking a moment to ask him if he wanted to stop did, itself close the gap a little bit.
Oh no, Wolfos, the tech difficulties are everywhere. So apparently Wolfos' splits aren't working now.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully she just keeps going because the timer's all that matters.
Yeah. Good grief. Sunday morning is cursed. Oh god, it's because I'm here, isn't it?
Apparently.
Heaven help us.
Well, and I feel like it might be a little bit of that, that early morning tiredness from like Wolfos as well in her run.
Yeah.
Having a little bit of trouble getting through D1.
But there we go. She's got her first piece of heart. We need, what, 12 of those?
Yep, there's 12 of them in the game, and that is our first one that we collect in the run.
Yeah. Say, what else do we have to collect in 100%?
So in 100% in our category, we collect all heart pieces. We have to collect all the photos, which are the unique addition to the DX version of the game. We have to collect all inventory items that are non-diminishing and permanent and lasting. We have to collect all level 2 upgrades of things such as the bracelet, the shield, and the sword. The level 2 sword upgrade in particular requires obtaining 20 out of 26 unique seashells that we route in however we choose, 3 capacity upgrades from the Mad Batter for the powder, bombs, and arrows, and lastly, our runners were going to be completing the color dungeon to get a tunic upgrade, either red or blue.
So yeah, it may seem like a lot, but we know what we got. The really hard part of this is forgetting either a seashell or a photo.
Yeah, photos can be
dangerous. Not even forgetting a photo, just the game not registering one particular one. Not salty at all.
Yeah, so missing certain photos can be permanently missable, so we have to be very careful about those particular ones to get them when we can. And Matt's referencing, there's a certain photo in the game, the only one, where if you press start during the cutscene, you'll skip the cutscene quicker, but you won't actually get the photo, which is a very unfortunate thing that we found out somewhat recently that invalidated a few runs. But our runners today are aware of this.
Yes. All right, so we pick up our pal, the Chain Chomp Bow Wow. Oh dear. And now we're going to go over here, do a flock clip using the text box to go skip through this rock. And now we're going to go up here, eat one of these flowers, hopefully, soon. Wait for it. We promise it's happening.
So WhiteWolfos is going to transition and hope for better RNG. Usually Bao, after transition, is going to, it'll reset his eat timer.
Oh, yes. And then, bam, we're in D2.
So unfortunately, she did get trolled quite a bit there. You can get really quick eats depending on, well, you have to be lucky no matter what, but depending on your positioning and stuff. And she just unfortunately had a really long one.
Yeah. But hey, it's making this race sporting. Dragon's slowly catching up. He's like, was it Christine in that one? The BMW in the Stephen King novel?
Oh my god, I was sure you were going to say the Terminator.
God, no.
How do you not say the Terminator?
Because there are better things following you.
Not for Wolfos.
No, on her end, it's like the bunny from Monty Python.
I'm just imagining Dragon cackling the whole way.
Oh, it's fine. He can't harm us. All right, so here's a high Nox, and then it's gone.
Binox.
There you go.
There it is. So another really example of how powerful the boomerang, how powerful the bow is, and why we get it so early. It really saves a ton of time.
And then WhiteWolfos is going to go for a certain variation of this trick here. If you can get those ghosts to be off screen, they will despawn and the chest will appear.
Yeah, so you can either knock them back directly off screen with with the arrows. The arrows give them knockback. Or in Wolfos' case, when you hit the ghost with a sword, they'll respawn on the other side of the room and then start tracking directly towards Link. By being right up against the screen transition and using your sword on them, they'll spawn very close to the opposite edge of the screen, and for whatever reason, their tracking will try to wrap around the screen and track Link in the opposite direction, so they'll despawn themselves. And then Wolfos going through and getting the boss key in that 1-3 enemy room and being careful to kill them all in the correct order, otherwise the chest will not spawn.
Ooh, that looks like a clean King Moblin kill. Dragon.
He means business.
He's coming. Oh, wait, you know what? We missed the most obvious reference. He's Jaws. Bruce the Shark.
No. See, Bow Wow was Jaws.
Bottom.
And Dragon having a pretty good entry into D2 there.
Meanwhile, Wolfos has started her fight against the genie in the bottle. Basically, it throws 8 flames at you, and then you're supposed to go up, pick up the bottle, throw it against the wall. Oh, wait, you're not supposed to do that. Break the bottle immediately instead of hitting against the wall 3 times.
Yeah, so you're supposed to actually do that little fireball cycle 3 times, and he taunts you each time, and it's a very long fight. But by wall clipping into the wall, for whatever reason, a single hit from the bottle will just destroy its health and break it. And Wolfos tried to place a quick bomb and then time a bomb arrow against the wall to get 2 quick hits in before he can warp away. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit off, so she had to clean up the last hit there after he warped.
I think she was even confused by what happened there.
I didn't see it too closely to see exactly what may have gone wrong, but
it looked like the genie didn't move down. So the bomb may not have been where it was supposed to be, but I don't know. It's fine.
There's a lot of finicky things with that trick, where you put the bomb, when you put the bomb. A lot of it just comes down to practice and feeling. But the whole trick together is just a lot of moving parts. Now WhiteWolfos going, taking a little detour east here to the waterfall that's hiding D4. And we're not doing anything here right now, but she just wants to come here and unlock the portal here, because it'll actually save her a second or two later when she wants to come back and unlock D4. So she's just going to come to this screen and save and quit, and that's all you need to do to activate that portal, is have discovered it.
Oh dear. I think her timer's gone too.
Oh, she accidentally reset her timer.
Sunday morning. Oh.
Sunday morning. Oh, well.
I will keep a weather eye on Dragon's timer for when she finishes, hopefully.
Hopefully Dragon's doesn't reset either.
Dragon, don't reset your timer. I swear.
But at least we know they're synced, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So Dragon's into his genie fight, so we'll see if he'll get the quick kill. And Wolfos is now talking to the Mad Batter for the first time. And on this trip, she's going to want to get the bomb upgrade first. But he always asks you if you want to get the powder upgrade first, which is the thing we want the least. So she was very careful to say no powder, and yes to bombs.
Now Dragon getting the quick kill on the genie.
Yep, so that's nice. That's how it looks when everything goes smoothly.
And now Wolfos is going to be heading down to the plains.
Yep, so we're now on our way to D3, and this little trip involves a couple little cleanup quests. So while she's got the bomb arrows equipped, she's just going to open that cave for later. We don't have the tools yet to get the heart piece in that cave, but since we have to blow up this skull rock here anyway, it's value to open that cave up.
Also, you saw her try to shoot a bomb arrow right there, but Bow Wow blocked it. That's one of the reasons why we hate him in any percentage. He blocks projectiles. Like
yeah, he's got a strange level of collision that still exists when he's a follower to you, for whatever reason. And now WhiteWolf was coming up and getting the Richard picture. This is one of the ones that is missable, so it's very important to come here and get this before you go to enter D3, or before you even get the slime key, because once you've gotten a certain number of golden leaves or the slime key, this cutscene is gone. And actually,
isn't it just if you open the door?
Well, either, actually. There's a number of things that'll make that missable.
Oh. Well, that's alright, because they're never going to go into Candlelit Castle. And now Wolfos is going to go over here and do Villa Skip. So this is a trick where we have an audio cue where if we pause when we're falling, the game will think, oh, hey, you're on a solid tile. And then we just use that to transition down. And because the game, when you transition down and there's something below you, it'll just drop you until you get to a tile where you can actually stand. It allows us to completely skip going into Candlelit Castle, talking to Richard, aside from the photo. And, you know, cuts out a decent chunk of the game.
And that was very good for Wolfos. It only took her 2 pauses to do that, which is way below average, I would say, which is very nice.
Damn near perfect.
Yeah. And yeah, it really skips a huge chunk of the game, because that whole Candlelit section it just adds up to minutes. And especially because to enter the castle, it would require us to start the trade sequence properly with the Yoshi doll, the bow, the dog food, the bananas, and then to get the stick from Kiki. But we don't do any of that because of this. And we'll see shortly after they're done Dungeon 3 that not doing any of that, those early trade quests, don't matter at all, because the game is really silly.
The game assumes. It doesn't make an ass out of us, but it makes an ass out of itself, pretty sure.
Yeah, we'll see later that the next item that you're supposed to get after the stick is the honeycomb. And we're able to get it anyway because the game never actually checks. There's no check involved to see if you have this stick because you're not supposed to be able to get that cutscene until after D3. And if you have beaten D3, you should have the stick, right?
Well, yeah, you can't get into D3 without the stick because you've gone to Candlelit Castle, right?
Right, exactly.
Alright, so Wolfos has been killing a lot of enemies here, and she's going to go for a drop called a Piece of Power, which spawns every 30 enemies in this current moment that you kill. And that basically increases our movement speed, the knockback from our sword, the power of our sword. And there it is, the upside-down Triforce piece looking thing. So this is going to help her out when she comes in here, clips into this wall, and uses the collision from her sword on the Dodongo to skip over to the wall, thus donk skip.
Nails it.
Perfect.
Yeah, so actually we didn't mention super jumps yet. We've seen our runners do a couple of them so far, just for minor time saves. And that trick involves a super jump where, so she was clipped into the wall, and by jumping while facing away from the wall, while kind of inside of it, you trick the game into kind of letting you jump off of it even though you're on the wrong side of it. So she uses that to get extra distance, and then her spin slash, while mid-jump, mid-fall, just sends her flying 90 degrees, which allows her to enter that railing area and skip a key, which is just a really cool little skip. And unfortunately, she mistimes it there, but it's not too costly to reattempt and gets it the second try.
Not too costly to reattempt my left foot. Try doing it like 16 times.
Well, it's not that costly each time.
Alright, you. Some of us aren't good at the game. You realize that, right?
I'm not very good at that skip either. And yeah, so actually, we see Dragon doing the newer routing where he doesn't exit Villa Skip immediately. He's actually coming into Richard's Villa, kind of through the back cave there, and getting a seashell here. The newer routing. So I mentioned that there's 26 seashells in the game, and only 20 of them matter for getting the level 2 sword. So we very recently rerouted new seashells into the route, just such that it makes the run faster, and we can get the level 2 sword quite a bit easier. Not easier, but quite a bit sooner.
What the?
Looks like we're getting a reboot here from SG.
Don't stop, guys. Just because we can't see you doesn't absolve you from racing.
Just because it's Sunday morning doesn't mean you should give up. Hey, we're back. And we've got sound.
Are we back? Let me refresh. Oh my god, it's beautiful. Our hero Zelna's doing the hard work this morning.
Looks like there's a bit of delay on WhiteWolfos' end, but maybe we'll see if that can get fixed.
Nah, she's up and running for me.
So we see here, this is that cave that they opened earlier when they were coming through, but now they've got the boots, so they can actually get through here. And open this obnoxious fake wall here that there is absolutely zero hint towards.
Oh no, Dragon got the other drop in the game. The Guardian Acorn prevents the piece of power from dropping.
Yeah, so not only can you not have both simultaneously, but while one of them is active, the other just simply will not drop, which is really silly. And you'll see a lot of runners, if they get an unexpected acorn, will take the required 3 hits from an enemy to try to quickly get rid of it so they can still get a piece of power, just because it's, you know, it's important for the boss kill. But we see Dragon just opting to go on without it. I certainly have faith that he can defeat the boss without PvP, but it's interesting to see that he just decides to carry on. Probably faster in the long run.
Well, we do have a little bit of audio sync, but what can you do, really?
Now, WhiteWolfos making her first trip to the Seashell Mansion, where I presume the Dragon's already visited once, though I missed it.
He has.
So, if you visit the Seashell Mansion with 20 seashells, that's when you get the sword. But there's also a prize for visiting with exactly 5 and exactly 10 seashells. Those prizes being simply an extra seashell to kind of boost your progress a little bit. So it's really helpful for us to route those in as much as we can. And in WhiteWolfos' route, I'm pretty sure that's the only extra prize we're going to see from the Seashell Mansion. But
oh, Dragon, equip. No, he did it anyways. Good lord.
Wow.
Not
Good
bad.
on him.
Also, now that I think about it, with people pointing out that there's desynced audio for Wolfos, she did Villa skip without an audio cue, or a proper audio cue.
Well, it might not be desynced on her end. It's hard to tell.
Oh.
I know sometimes, you know, depending on your OBS settings, you can get audio desync pretty frequently.
That's pretty impressive if she did. Alright, Dragon finishes up D3. Meanwhile, Wolfos goes to talk to Wing Bear Man. Wing Bear Man, because he gives us those deets to go talk to Mern on the beach and get us a sweet date. Alright, here is Zelnis working hard to make sure these guys can at least be seen and heard. You're doing good, man. Alright, so Dragon finding his completely obvious bombable wall and piece of heart, while Wolfos runs over here and grabs her ocarina. Worst item in the game because it's virtually useless.
It's virtually useless, and it's got an extremely obnoxious sub-menu that just eats time every time you accidentally sub-menu over it.
I'd say it eats time when you have to equip it anyways, but that's...
Yeah. Yeah, thanks to the magic of bomb triggers, we don't actually make too much use of the ocarina.
Imagine if we could just bomb trigger a room and it would set off Mambo's Mambo.
Well, we would still need the ocarina, unfortunately, 100%.
We wouldn't need to equip it, would we?
Oh, you mean to actually use it after you've learned it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dragon almost forgetting a seashell. Meanwhile, Wolfos gets her 4th piece of power during required text box, meaning she skips her little cutscene that says, "Hey, look, you got a full piece of heart." No, full piece of heart? No, full heart container. There we go. Words.
And what we're seeing from Dragon was some careful seashell routing. So he was able to get the five seashell prize before going to D3 and the 10 seashell prize afterwards. So that's he got 2 prizes from the Seashell Mansion, 1 more than we'll see from Wolfos. Although Wolfos does have other seashells in her route that'll make up for that missing one.
Oh yes. Alright, so Wolfos is over here starting her date night, or pre-date runs. She needs to get 2 photos, the piece of heart and the ocarina.
Oops.
Goes in to visit the old man instead of peeping horribly at him through the window.
I mean,
so
that's
now
just
we're just
considerate.
checking on him because we're scared for his life.
So I'm not sure what Dragon's doing.
I think he's making a new route.
Yeah, so typically what we saw Wolfos do and what's fastest to do here is to come to Animal Village and get the pineapple. Trade the honeycomb for the pineapple because you need that in order to you need to get the pineapple from the bear before Marin will go on a date with you. So, but for whatever reason, Dragon's coming through here and also getting the heart piece first. I'm not sure if we're going to see him do walrus skip while he's here or what, but it's definitely unusual routing.
Alright, he doesn't have bombs equipped, so I think he's good for not doing walrus skip. Because in fact, if he did walrus skip now, it would invalidate his run.
Still very strange though, because that's wasted overworld movement because he's now going to have to do that exact same path through screens there.
Did he get the pineapple?
I would assume so, but I didn't see it.
No, he cannot get Marin if he does walrus skip. No, he has the honeycomb still.
He does?
Yeah.
So the heck is he doing?
New routing, apparently.
Hot new routing, okay.
He doesn't have the deets for that girl, Marin. Meanwhile, Wolfos has gotten her date. And taken her around the island. First off to the bottom of a well.
Which is a nice little combo trip because we can get the photo and the heart piece at the same time. But there's 3 such photos with Marin, and these are also missable photos simply because you can only have Marin with you for this part of the game. And if you glitch your way past Marin, you won't get them. Or if you wake the walrus with Marin and carry on your game without having gotten these photos, there's no way to go back and get them.
Yes, and this one, of course, was very obvious. There's no indication that this point of rock was a location for a missable photo at all. You just basically...
No.
I think the devs just intended you to just walk over every tile of the game to find things.
Well, I don't think they ever considered the photos to be a serious collectible. It was an add-on of little story cutscenes and stuff to the DX version.
This is a heart too.
Well, the heart pieces, I don't know how they expected some of the heart pieces, that's for sure, but I think from the perspective of, this being a remake of a game that people have already played, to add these little
Wait, what?
Cutscenes. Yeah, this is a remake.
No. What's happening on Dragon's screen? I think he's trying to catch the big fish without ever getting the little fish.
Did he retry the fishing game?
Yeah, while the fish was in the air.
Did he save and quit too early or something?
He didn't save and quit at all. Oh my god. Meanwhile, Terran's over here ruining our date. He's completely aware he still has honeycomb. And now he's going back to Animal Village. Hey, look! We're synced! Almost.
Well, they're handshaking, but...
Except one of us has a date and the other one doesn't.
Yeah, I'm so confused about why Dragon's made these decisions.
Dragon's on Dreamland.
I have to assume that he's just, again, maybe just forgetting a bit of the 100% routing, letting his rando take over.
Alright. Now we have Marin waking up the walrus. We get him to go into the ocean and never come back out.
And we can actually wake the walrus with Marin because we have her with us for once.
Yes, normally you would bomb trigger this since it's faster, but
Yeah, it's technically a little faster to bomb trigger the cutscene even with Marin.
Hold on, don't you go throwing shade to Animal Crossing, Bellum. We're gonna have some fighting words if you start doing that. Alright, we're gonna have a text box in the desert. Oh my god, there's a text box in the desert.
Yep, the menacing but invisible Lamnolas.
Gone. Forever. Never to be seen again. Alright, here's another completely obvious neon lit piece of art.
As Dragon also gets the very easy to miss seashell back by Dungeon 1.
Because, you know, you visit everything twice, right?
And just bonk every tree.
Yeah.
There are a number of trees in the game that you bonk for seashells, trees that you can bonk for bombs and fairies and stuff, but I'm not sure if any of them are ever kind of spelled out for you, that you should, you know, figure that out.
Probably not.
Although, the way the boots work, I think it's probably, you know, a given that you're going to be doing quite a bit of bonking in a casual playthrough.
Yeah. So let's see. Wolfos is going to go pick up one more piece of heart, I believe, and then she's going to be off to D4.
Yep, she's going to head up to that cave that Dragon was already at, while Dragon talks about seagulls with Marin.
Animal.
The cutest and longest cutscene in the game.
I gotta say, though, Dragon's moving swift here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you can say about Dragon. His execution and decision-making is all... He never second-guesses himself, so he's always very quick and very direct, and he does it very well. but he did lose quite a bit of time to that confusing Animal Village, Maybe Village routing.
Somebody ban Sagas.
Sagas, I guess, is Krarone's representative for this race.
Yeah.
Since he couldn't be here himself.
We're going to be the honor people, and we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to mention what he should be banned for. But Marin's going to teach us a lovely song here, which we're going to play in our ocarina that isn't equipped. Somehow in our pocket, and we're still playing it.
A little duet with hidden accompaniment. And it might not seem like much, but WhiteWolfos has to be careful not to say no, because Marin's going to ask him if he understood the song after this, and if you say no, then he just won't remember it.
I think Ash tried to ban Sagas.
Well, we appreciate the effort.
Good try. Good hustle. Alright, so Wolfos has her song and she's off to the mountains. Meanwhile, Dragon's over here going towards Animal Village one more time.
Saga's getting what he deserved.
Alright.
That wasn't me!
Zelmus, I love you, man. You're a hero. The restreamer we deserve.
But yeah, so WhiteWolfos making that trip back and unlocking D4, and we're finally finishing up our collectathon between D3 and D4. So it's actually been about 15 minutes or so, maybe a bit less, since we've been in a dungeon. So, but that's all over, and we're finally going to move on into Dungeon 4.
I'd like to question something for those of you who are more knowledgeable game than I am. Dragon had his menu open during the cutscene? Like, you can clearly hear the music playing, but...
Yeah, sometimes when you go for the double buff, I didn't actually see it, but I know that sometimes when you go for the second buffer, to buffer the second bomb, the music will already start if you get, like... Because you can actually get the frame-perfect bomb trigger, and then still buffer another menu after the bomb trigger. So that's why people like to watch the Link's animation when you screen transition, to know whether or not they need to do that second buffer, because no matter what, you can do the second buffer.
Huh,
even when it's not necessary.
I've learned.
Yeah, so to be honest, if you were to keep the menu open and kind of get, you know, the cutscene, like the music playing like really deep, I don't know what would happen if you were to like then close it halfway through the music.
I think it would just continue on without the music, wouldn't it?
Probably.
Netrex, this is because we have to do 100%.
Yeah, it's just part of our definition for doing as much of, like, collecting as many things in the game as we can, and that includes those photos.
You gotta do.
Yeah. The game obviously doesn't have a built-in percentage counter. The game doesn't reward you for, hey, you've collected everything like Pokemon, you know? So we've just created these rules for all the things that we can think to collect.
Oh, apparently the music loops if you go real deep on the cutscene with the pause menu.
Okay. That makes sense too.
Oh my god, WhiteWolfos is not having the best time with this Zol room. One of the worst rooms in the game.
It is seriously one of the worst rooms. If you, like, it's worth taking the time to make sure that you, like, charge your sword coming in here, because if you poke it or in any way screw it up and you got to deal with the tiny ones while the fireballs are firing at you, it's just impossible.
Yeah. It is maddening, especially if you're bad at the game and playing any percent. Because you don't come in from the bottom that way.
Oh, and Netrex, if we don't have a max percent currently in this category, but there are sort of other things that we could do to create a max percent category if we wanted, just things that we don't necessarily care about within our community, like visiting every screen or every map tile or things like that, you know.
Alright, so WhiteWolfos, having done her swaggiest jump off of the P-hat, is now going to fight. Oh look, she did the thing where she shoots an arrow around too.
Yeah, she got a single Corona arrow. That's not too bad.
That's fine. It's a tribute. Besides, the fact that she's out now doesn't really matter. She's going to be heading towards her upgrade for the arrow soon, and soon she'll have 60. The biggest quiver. But for now, she'll have to settle with a surf harp.
And actually, with Dragon heading up the mountain here, if he's on the newer route, we're going to see him do actually a couple things before dropping down into Dungeon 4. So we'll see what route he takes here.
We're going to see him fail obstacle skip.
Yeah, and falling too.
Shameful.
Very shameful. It's one thing to fail, but to fall? Wow.
Alright, so our routes are going to diverge pretty big here. Instead of going straight to Deep 4 like WhiteWolfos did, Dragon's going to go up the mountain. And he's going to go get a seashell and a piece of heart. No, not a piece of heart, a photo. My bad.
And it's actually pretty easy to get up here without the flippers. It takes just a single Jesus jump to get onto those stairs.
He may be going for something else, too? No, where he saved he won't be doing it. There is also a route in this game where we will get Rooster Key right now during what we call early Rooster Skip. But for now we'll have to settle with killing this mouse while having a sword coming out of the butt.
Yeah, you got the butt sword and that's all that counts.
I thought the assassination points were what counted.
Well, they both count, to be honest. But the reason Dragon did that little segment as early as he did now is because routing that seashell in now is going to let him get the level 2 sword quite a bit earlier, well, a lot earlier actually than we'll see in WhiteWolfos' route.
Which is definitely going to help him make up a lot of time.
Yeah, it does surprisingly save quite a bit of time. And Dragon's saving an arrow. I didn't see what his arrow counts at.
Oh, I think I know what he's doing, unfortunately.
Oh, is he going to go for a bomb trigger somewhere?
No. He's saving arrows.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I was implying to begin with.
Yeah, it means he's going to be doing something terrible. Oh no, wait, he has only 2, so he's just saving them for the proper kill on Anglerfish. I didn't see his arrow count until now.
Well, he may even go for the sword strat on Anglerfish to save an arrow for the boomerang cave.
There's a sword strat? You mean I didn't have to play it casually?
Yeah, so you can just do a spin slash, and then when you're on top of Anglerfish, if you just keep mashing your sword, like, he'll hit you, but you won't get knocked back. Your sword slashes will cancel out the knockback, and you can just kind of sit on top of him and mash through him.
Huh. Right,
the bomb arrows are faster, but if you're low on arrows, you know, it wouldn't be that much slower to do the sword strats there.
Oh, and he messed up the jump. Alright,
Yeah,
meanwhile, we saw Wolfos bomb a wall and get a bra, which we gave to Martha, who promptly went and jumped
Concussed
herself
herself.
into a rock.
But yeah,
That's
so
gaming.
Dragon went for like a fancier way to get to that boss key in D4 there by doing a series of super jumps and clinks off that P hat, and all to try to save a couple menus. But unfortunately, he didn't get it. Just tried it once and did the normal setup where you lift the pots. And yeah, so we see there Dragon opting for the sword strats on the anglerfish there. Not going quite the way he wanted, but he did. He got a little far away from the anglerfish and did a spin slash to make up for it, which I thought was good.
Oh yes. Now, Wolfos is bringing the ghost around on his world tour, taking him back to his house. And now she's going to be going around getting a couple of seashells and then her arrow upgrade.
Yeah, so when you beat D4 and you travel to a certain part of the overworld, this ghost just appears and just starts bothering you.
Hey,
and you want to
listen.
just go on an adventure with him.
Oh my god, what if it's the ghost of Navi?
Precursor to Navi, anyway.
Oh,
They thought the ghost was such a great idea.
Is it Link's Awakening after Ocarina of Time?
Oh, in the timeline, sure. But the timeline didn't exist back when Zelda 4 came out.
Shh, we don't need to know that.
Now, if we could get everyone to give their O's in chat, this is the best song.
One. Oh.
So,
hey, there you go.
So now we see Dragon's finished D4. He's gonna head his way into, we got the Mambo. He's gonna head over... Oh, I was gonna say, I was worried he was gonna forget the heart piece here.
Hey,
It is slightly faster to swim to the heart piece, but the way that Dragon did it really doesn't lose too much time. I think at most a second loss. But now he's gonna head to the bay as WhiteWolfos ends her time there. So we didn't really cover it, but WhiteWolfos went to the bay to get a couple of photos, get a couple of seashells. Although she didn't get the early lens yet, if I'm not mistaken, right, Matt?
Not yet. That comes after Color Dungeon in this one.
But we will see Dragon get the early lens while he's over here on his trip. But Wolfos just getting the arrow upgrade, using Mambo's Mambo to warp back to that little pond, and then finally getting rid of the ghost. And the only reason we really care to actually complete this ghost quest normally is because we need this photo. Because in fact, if we had different routing and got the level 2 bracelet before we beat D4, the ghost would never spawn. But she got that photo and now she's on her way. And she's going to go through this graveyard tunnel and go to the bonus dungeon that was added in Link's Awakening DX, the Color Dungeon. Which, you don't get a heart container, you don't get an instrument, but for 100% we do want to see our runners get the tunic upgrade. And they're going to be choosing between either red tunic or blue tunic, so it'll be interesting to see which tunics these guys choose.
It's all personal preference, by the way.
Yeah, so they're very different tunics in terms of the benefits they provide, and they affect the run in ways you wouldn't expect given what they do. But in terms of time save and whatnot, they don't really matter. You can pick either one, and it's not going to have a huge effect on your run. In terms of time, as I said, but the red tunic the red tunic will give them the power of the piece of power, which is, you know, double damage from your sword, but also a knockback effect that can have a negative impact on certain bosses in certain places in the game. Or they can choose the blue tunic, which gives them half health. Or double health. And yeah, Dragon here is going for what we call early magnifying lens by bumping off this Zora to get a super jump set up so he can get over here without the hookshot. And he's going for it somewhat unbuffered and not doing a very good job of it, unfortunately. And now he's going for the old setup where you buffer roughly, 24 times, I think. to land on the proper position. It doesn't seem he knows the buffered setups for the Zora bumps.
He sort of does. Because, I mean, he was in the right position for 2 of them. And, I mean, he almost got it.
Yeah, so like, I think he knows the positions and the rough timings, but he was trying to YOLO them, which just unfortunately wasn't going for him.
Oh, Wolfos gets the setup for Blob quick kill, and it's dead. Goodbye, Blob.
I mean, this boss hops around a lot, shoots lightning, and his hitbox is a little hard to read, so he can actually be pretty difficult if you fight him normally. But by jumping into the boss fight, you can just get right in his face before he can even jump, and just kill him quickly.
Oh, I thought I heard a very bad sound on Dragon's stream.
What, killing the Zora?
No, I thought I heard him fall off the ledge.
Oh, super swim.
That would have been especially bad because in our rule set, super swimming is not allowed. And it will most likely crash your game if you do it. Oh, Wolfos
yeah, you can definitely crash your game if you're not aware.
Now heading over to the best room in Color Dungeon. Bingo. So these balls and colors are randomized, I believe.
Well, it's random in the sense that the balls are enemies and their movement is random. So when you first enter the room, you just kind of have to deal with where they go.
Yes. But are the colors randomized now that I think about it?
The colors are not randomized.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a very difficult room.
Dragon finally making it over the gap. Now he's gonna get his sweet magnifying lens while Wolfos goes over here and fights this buzz color blob thing whose name I can't remember.
It's just the Color Dungeon boss.
No, it has to have a name. It's a boss.
It's just that guy. But yeah, I'm glad to see Dragon getting through that on that buffered setup. He got the right position that time. But he lost a lot of time on that, unfortunately.
Well, it happens. Alright, we saw a mouse on both of our players' screens. The advantage of early magnifying lens is you can get the boomerang a lot earlier. And the boomerang is, not even joking, the strongest item in the game.
And we don't actually get the early boomerang necessarily because it's a good weapon, but we get the early boomerang because it's going to let us get the early hookshot in Dungeon 5, which saves a minute and a half at least in Dungeon 5 itself, which we're going to see coming up. Which is really cool.
Wolfos going for the last of our completely obvious neon-lit heart pieces.
And this one might be the dumbest.
You would swim all the way around Candlelit Castle, wouldn't you? As a child, yes. You would come over here to this very isolated area.
Well, to be honest, I did. Maybe I was a weird child, though.
Alright, you stop being adventurous. Go play another game. Go play Tetris.
I do also want to point out that Wolfos got she chose the red tunic over the blue tunic. So she's gonna have... Which actually, red tunic is beneficial for her route because she doesn't get the level 2 sword until later in the run. So the double damage that the red tunic provides her is gonna come in very handy.
Yes. But now she's gonna be heading her way to do this similar trick. No, actually the same trick that Dragon was doing just now.
Yep. So she's gonna come get that fisherman photo and stuff as well, and importantly get the early magnifying lens.
Which she will then use to go get her boomerang and then hit D5. So right now I think she's still a dungeon ahead, isn't she?
Honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think they're on par in terms of their dungeons completed.
No, because she's done Color Dungeon already, but Dragon's done Early Roosters.
Oh, of course, I'm forgetting Color Dungeon. I was thinking of the instruments.
Yeah.
But we see Wolfos going right into that and opting right away to go for the slow but safe buffer setup.
Slow but sure.
Slow but sure, 100%. She doesn't have to worry about the Zora RNG or anything, and she got a little stuck there, but she can dash right out of that.
Oh, first try. It's gonna be really good later.
Yeah, so she just saved a lot of time against Dragon there by slow and steady wins the race.
None of this RNG garbage.
Yeah, so it's hard to fault someone for doing the slower strat when it goes perfectly like that.
Oh, I wonder if anybody in our community would know about that, like everyone not doing early rooster skip. Alright, let's go talk to our corpse of a buddy.
And Dragon, thankfully, getting the error upgrade this time and not accidentally getting the powder.
Yeah. So now he's heading his way over to Color Dungeon. Wolfos is gonna get her boomerang in like, what, a minute?
Yep. And WhiteWolfos getting her fisherman photo. This is the photo that we mentioned earlier, that if you accidentally press start when they show you the photo, you'll leave it quicker, but you won't actually get the photo. And it's very easy to leave that screen and not notice and think that you've completed it.
I want to say that's gotten 3 runners so far.
Yeah, it's gotten some runners before the tournament, and it's gotten at least 1 runner during the tournament.
I know for sure it got me 100%.
Okay.
And it got Crunchy and Bamboo, but both of them went back and got it.
It got M-Chan as well during the tournament.
I see. Actually, this is seeming like it's gonna get really close really fast.
Yeah, because Dragon's entering D0 right now, and it's not a very long dungeon.
Not at all. Meanwhile, while Catfish's Maw Dungeon 5 is not as long as it would be normally because of the boomerang, it's still pretty long too. To answer a question in the chat, Netrex, there's actually a Oracle of Seasons tournament going on?
Yeah, so it hasn't started yet, but there is going to be an Oracle of Seasons tournament starting, I think, late August. They're currently doing weekend races to sort of build up to the tournament, where they started with 2 Essence races, then 3, and they're kind of just adding length to the races as they go to kind of give people time to learn the race. So if you're interested in that, definitely catch those weekend races, and it's definitely a great opportunity to learn that game if you're interested.
Alright, so Wolfos is making her way into Catfish's Maw now.
Ooh, accidental second dive there.
I hate when we have Feather on B at that point.
Does it behave differently?
No, you press B to jump and it dives.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Because you're still in the water.
I just wasn't sure the priority on that.
Yeah.
So that red tunic working really well for Wolfos there. Those Helmosaurs usually take 2 hits from the level 1 sword, and they are a huge pain in the ass. So with the red tunic, she's just able to one-shot them and move on.
Right. Now we have the main reason for getting Boomerang so early. We're gonna do the trick we call early hookshot. So in this room, when you push these 2 blocks together, a key drops. In the next room, you fight Master Stalfos to get the hookshot. And the hookshot drops from wherever. So the game's code thinks that if a key drops in the next room, it's a hookshot, because you'd get the hookshot there. So we're just going to pull the key from the room next to it into the Master Stalfos room to get the key early.
I also want to point out too that Dragon just hard reset his console because, well, and then he save and quit as well. I'm a little confused because he did hard reset already.
I think he's doing it just like double sure.
Yeah, that was
Meanwhile,
odd.
Wolfos gets her hookshot second try. Magnificent.
But this rupee room that Dragon's in, it actually refills after a hard reset. For whatever reason, it's not whether or not you've cleared that room isn't stored in your individual save RAM for your save file, but resetting the console will reset that check. So Dragon taking advantage of that to get 300 rupees that he's gonna need later. But yeah, Wolfos getting that early hookshot second try is very good. Ooh, and Dragon getting the double on the bingo room.
Very nice. I like how we use boomerang in that now.
Yeah. I haven't started doing that yet, but it does look pretty cool.
When I actually learn the new route, then I'll do it. But
And when's that
very
now?
neat. It's after Dark Souls.
Oh god. You said exactly what you need to say to get away from it.
Yeah. Oh.
If I say Dark Souls, Spearster won't give me shit.
Oh, I know why he's saving quit. He reset the dungeon, period.
That's it. I knew it had something to do with his arrows, but I'm like, his arrow count's fine. Why is he worried about that? But yeah. So if you use arrows, you can't do bomb triggers if you've used arrows at any point between a warp or a save and quit. So we see him going for the sword strats on that boss, which are harder than they look, because he can just bomb trigger, and he misses it!
Oh no! The humanity!
All that for nothing. You can
He
bomb
tried
trigger
so
this fairy
hard.
and save all these text boxes. And he goes for the blue tunic, nice. So we actually get to see both tunics in this race.
A bomb tunic.
The bomb tunic. Oh, that's such a shame.
It happens.
It's a bit of a meme, so it would have been fun to see him get that. So yeah, so it'll actually be interesting. We get to highlight the differences between these tunics. I already explained sort of how they're mechanically different, but they're different in ways you necessarily wouldn't expect. So Wolfos, she's made really short work of Dungeon 5 because of that early hookshot skip, and she's now already at the boss.
This is gonna be good. Alright, so the main reason we don't like red tunic in certain spots is because of this boss. This boss is wall snake or slime meal, what have you. And we need to pull him out of the wall and hit him in the heart. Which is hard when you have a tunic that grants you knockback and invincibility frames.
So you don't see the boss getting knocked back, but the effect is still applied to him in a certain sense that after each hit, he's got increased invincibility frames as if he'd been knocked back. So it's much tighter timing to get as many hits in as possible. So it is still possible to get 4 hits per pull, but you're much more likely to get 3 hits, which turns this fight from a 2 cycle into a 3+ cycle. And Wolfos actually cleaning it up very nicely.
A nice 3-3-2 on her end.
Yeah.
That boss can be really dangerous because if he gets below a certain point of health, I think if he gets 6 hits or more, but
And I
not
think
enough
after
to
3
kill him,
pulls.
he will start to spawn decoys. You will generally not see the decoys unless you have really, really terrible luck, because then they will start coming, and they don't stop coming.
Yeah, and you just start losing so much time at that point. But the reason the blue tunic or the green tunic in other routes is really nice on that boss is you don't have to worry about that knockback effect. You don't have to worry about those iframes, and you can actually get in 5 hits per cycle, and the 2 cycle is pretty much guaranteed.
Alright, so Dragon, having completed his signpost maze, which is what Wolfos is going to be heading up to do right now, is getting his Frog Song of Soul. Oh no, I referenced the worst song. It was All-Star by Smash Mouth.
Yeah, and we did see Dragon technically failing the signpost maze on that last sign. After he spawned the staircase, he spoke that sign 2 extra times that the game, gave him the failure sound for, but it didn't matter.
A little over the pit high five here.
Yeah. A little crossover.
Alright. Now what's Dragon doing? Because I don't know his route by heart. Ah, yes. This is another missable photo, which, if you don't realize that the magnifying lens grants you the ability to see this guy, you'll never encounter him. Ever. Julian, I think Wolfos is ahead because she's finished Dungeon 5. It's very heavy, I think.
Yeah. Wolfos must be ahead because they've both beaten Color Dungeon at this point, but she's got the extra instrument.
Although Dragon's doing some weird stuff. He's going to Dungeon 6.
Well, Dungeon 6 is the route for, like, is his route.
Meanwhile, Wolfos after this will be heading up the mountains to Dungeon 8.
Yeah, so we see Dragon. He's going to come through here, come through Armos Maze. There is a seashell in this maze that should be the last one for him, if I'm remembering correctly. It'll be our 20th
I want to say
seashell.
yes.
And then he's going to carry on and get the... He's going to defeat the Armos Knight to get the key for D6. Which we get to see some cool boot strats probably, because this is another difference where the knockback effect from the red tunic makes the Armos Knight fight really easy. You can just slash your sword, mash on him, and he'll die. With the blue or green tunics, you've got to do either, you know, spin slashes, or you got to dash with the boots. So let's see what strat.
He takes a hit, but he gets locked in.
He was going for the Sagaz strat there, unfortunately, not quite getting it.
So we might as well take this time to note that boots work weird in this game. We can use the shovel to lock ourselves in place, and if we switch the shovel with the sword, we're actually holding our sword forward, having the power of the dash slash.
Yeah, if you use a shovel, really, or if you get knocked down by a boss like that, you can actually get the boots kind of stuck, such that you're just like in an infinite dash on the spot.
And it's really handy for tricks like early Rooster Skip.
That unfortunately we didn't get to see. Or maybe fortunately we didn't get to see.
Even though he has blue tunic, Dragon is really close to death.
Did he grab the fairy at the end of Color Dungeon? He may not have refilled his health.
But at least he doesn't take any damage from anything except these bombs on this screen.
Yeah.
Which they're staying far and flung away from him.
Which they never do for you.
No, God no. They sit on my face pretty much. Oh, yeah, half a heart. Oh, God.
Hopefully he does not... I think he's actually on a quarter heart. The game doesn't show quarters, but I think he's on a quarter, so hopefully he doesn't fall in a pit.
Alright, meanwhile, Wolfos is heading towards her Rooster Skip, which he's going to do with the help of the hookshot.
And just to reply to Julian in chat, the Armos quick kill isn't actually that difficult, depending on which setup you go for. But it definitely is a consideration in choosing one over the other.
It's just tricky sometimes.
And Dragon knowing that if you boomerang a spark, you'll get a fairy, so using that as a nice backup for his health.
Yeah. Easy as pie. Wolfos gets her Rooster Key. Eagle Key? Rooster Key? Do we know what that key is actually called?
It's actually called the Bird Key.
Bird Key. I went too specific.
Despite being called Eagle's Tower, the key is called Bird Key.
And we use the rooster to get up there. Oh, Dragon, why did you do that, man? It was perfect.
Oh, geez, Wolfos just straight up threatening the mouse off the bridge.
Get off. Get back. I'll cut you.
Thanks, Matt, for the wonderful recreation.
Yes. It had to be done.
And unfortunately, their routes are quite different at this point. We're not really going to see them reconnect until they get to the Windfish's Egg. So where we see Dragon going to D6 early here, we're going to see Wolfos instead make her way directly to Dungeon 8. And she'll be leaving Dungeon 6 for her last dungeon, actually.
Yes. Meanwhile, Dragon getting an excellent Wizrobe room. That room is one of the trickiest in the game to get perfectly down.
Well, actually, because he's got the blue tunic, he doesn't have to worry about timing the knockback on that one Wizrobe. So hitting that Wizrobe with the sword at any point will knock him into range. So blue tunic does make that room a lot easier.
Alright, Wolfos making her last trip to the Mad Batter. And Dragon throwing a pot against the chest and opening it, because that's how chests work, right?
Yep, that one chest anyway. And that'll be your last upgrade, so we'll finally take the powder simply because we have to. We never need this much powder, but we've got it.
Alright,
So it might come in handy at the end of the game.
See if Dragon has been practicing horse heads.
Dragon's the only one that could contend for world record with Provone. And oh boy, is he giving us a show. Oh.
11.
Wolfos missing flame skip and dying, unfortunately.
It's not a costly death, though.
No, but she just wasn't clipped enough, but there we go, she gets it the second time.
Wham, bam. Enderin.
Meanwhile, Dragon, you said 11 horse head tries?
I counted 11.
So each head itself is a 50-50 chance to land upright. So you have a total 25% chance each sort of cycle to get the doors to open. And it is just obnoxious, so sometimes it can go really poorly. We see him, like, an average of 4 tries, Dragon got 11. So he lost a ton of time.
Alright. So both of our players using bombs effectively here. First, Wolfos using bomb triggers to wake up Turtle Rock without ever needing the Flutter Rock Arena.
Even though she had the song.
Dragon fighting this face in the ground, because it's a lovely boss, well designed. Takes 5 hits from bombs to kill it. If you run out of bombs, you're damn out of luck.
And just like Lanmolas, his hitbox is entirely active before the fight actually sort of starts. So you're able to get 3 out of the 5 hits on the boss before he even starts attacking you.
And Dragon now getting his D6.
And we're going to see Wolfos here going for this hookshot clip to do this dungeon quicker. It allows us to skip a key early on, and we can route in the magic rod a little bit quicker into the dungeon.
She's having a rough time with it, though.
Yeah, so she wants to line up on one of 2 particular horizontal pixels there, super jumps onto this ledge, and then by putting hookshot on B and feather on A, she's able to frame perfectly use them both, and it gives you this really weird hookshot where you kind of move at double speed, and that allows her to clip into the block and pass the key block.
I will continue to call that trick bookshot.
Trick bookshot?
No, just bookshot.
Bookshot? Oh yeah.
Because
bookshot
has on B. Bookshot.
Yeah, has to be on B.
Alright, so Dragon has now gotten his level 2 sword made out of lightning and thunder. I'm not going to do the same thing as Crunchy, because I'm not Crunchy.
Wouldn't want to steal it from him, and we wouldn't do it justice anyway.
No, but Wolfos now has her magic rod, not a fire rod, because that doesn't exist on Coleman Island.
It shoots magic.
Yeah, magic burns underwater.
Well, we'll see the dungeon boss of D8 is made of fire, so you can't fight fire with fire. You have to fight fire with magic. Yeah.
Because fighting fire with fire is stupid. You just get more fire. And trust me, as a resident of a desert, you don't want more fire.
You do not.
So I think that we're actually going to be tied up in a little bit, actually.
Well,
They're both going to have one separate dungeon apiece done, along with all of their other ones.
It is sort of hard to say, because doing dungeons in a different order, the dungeons are a different length, and there is obviously a time save that Dragon has to having routed this early level 2 sword, but I don't think we're really going to be able to conclusively say anything until it comes to the egg. It just makes it really hard to see. But we do see that Dragon getting the level 2 sword immediately after Dungeon 6 like that, so much earlier than we're going to see Wolfos get it. He's going to have this level 2 sword and sword beams for his last 3 dungeons.
That's a serious advantage.
Yeah. We'll get to see him use sword beams actually on Master Stalfos coming up, so that's a nice little advantage. But we're also going to see him make quick work of mini-bosses coming up as well.
So now Wolfos clearing out her Roomba room. Now she's gonna head out, get one more piece of heart, and go fight Hothead. Meanwhile, Dragon has completed his early hook shot, meaning this race is getting tighter and tighter by the second.
Yep, they both got second try early hook shot, it seems. which is nice. You know, that's average for both of them. Neither one is losing time on the other.
The suspense is terrifying.
But I'm excited to see sword strats on Master Stelphos. I don't get tired of that. Meanwhile, Wolfos is super jumping to the boss there, skipping a 2D section to get to that boss. And Hothead is a terrible, terrible, terrible boss. He has a really long cooldown period between hits. So it's really a matter of just either getting lucky on your mashing and trying to get those hits in at the perfect time before he falls back into the lava, or just being very good at timing it.
And Wolfos getting it done fantastically.
Yeah, I think that was just a 2-cycle?
Yep.
So yeah, so that was very good. A 1 or 2 cycle is definitely the best you can ask for. Yeah, and Saiga's noting that Dragon's first try and early hookshot, he actually had the wrong pixel for the setup, and I kind of noticed that too. The hookshot was kind of moving wildly on the boomerang.
I did see that.
And
so probably down far.
I'm glad Saiga's confirmed that, because if you're not on the right setup there, it can actually be dangerous, because you may... I can't say this conclusively, but I wouldn't want to risk it. You don't want to collect that key accidentally.
Because then you have to go through Fight Master Stelphos 4 times.
Yeah, exactly. If you collect that key, then you can't spawn it again, you can't get early hookshot, and you've got to do the dungeon normally. And then all that time that you lost in getting the early magnifying lens is not going to be made up in any way.
Alright, Wolfos heading back up the mountain for the last time, heading up towards Eagle's Tower.
And now we get to see Slimy will fight with the blue tunic, which should... I mean, Wolfos had a great fight with the red tunic, but we should see this go quite a bit smoother, where Dragon could actually get 5 hits per cycle. Almost. It's hard to do on the short pull, but he gets 4, and then another 4. So that's super easy fight with the blue tunic, making short work of it. Because the first 2 cycles on that boss are so well understood and scripted that you don't really have to worry about them at all.
Alright, Wolfos getting her piece of heart from the mountains. While Dragon close to ties up the race.
Wolfos trying to set up for
just run.
There,
just run.
Just a pixel too high. She gave it her best try on that. She really wanted the obstacle skip.
Good lord. So all Dragon has left now are dungeons 7 and 8, whereas Wolfos has 6 and 7.
Yeah, so they're tied up in terms of instruments and dungeon completion now. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're tied in time.
The key issue here is going to be transit for Wolfos.
Yeah, so we see
Wolfos... No, go ahead.
I was going to say, Wolfos had to climb the mountain to get to D8, and she's climbed the mountain again to get to D7, by doing them in that order. Whereas in Dragon's route, we're going to see he's going to climb the mountain right now, go to D7, and then using a funny little glitch that we'll talk about later, he's going to be able to stay on the mountain and go directly from D7 to D8, which saves him probably 30 seconds in terms of overworld movement to get back on the mountain.
So it is getting worryingly close.
Yeah.
Despite all the technical difficulties and some such that we've gone through, this is going to be a really tight finish. We may even see them at the egg at the same time.
Yeah. And technical difficulties on both sides, too. Dragon's obviously being by far the most costly. But this has not been a smooth race for either runner.
Lolu, Wolfos has no time on her side because of issues with her splitter software. That happened earlier, and it reset her timer. We are still timing her through SRL, though, so we should have good stuff later in terms of timing.
Yeah, and I definitely think Wolfos was a bit flustered with, with Dragon's difficulties, with her troubles with her timer and whatnot and stuff, but I think she's definitely feeling more comfortable right now.
Oh yeah, she's in her element.
At Answer Chat, Oob is out of bounds. So, for our purposes, we've defined out of bounds as being any more than a single tile outside of a normally walkable tile.
Or clipped like 4 pixels in, right?
Well, being clipped 4 pixels in counts as being on that tile, so like you can't transition from that position.
Okay. Wolfos setting up our crazy demolition work here in Eagle's Tower.
Yeah, so normally you're supposed to take that big steel ball and carry it around and knock down the pillars, you know, wrecking ball style. And because, you know, you're kind of limited in where you can take that ball and how you have to get it around to the various pillars, the whole dungeon is one big puzzle in how do I get there. But Wolfos just breaking that puzzle by bomb triggering each pillar one at a time, which saves a ton of time and a ton of routing.
Oh, and then you just go back up and fall in? That's neat. I always did it the other way, where you go all the way around.
Oh yeah, this is the quickest way to that seashell. So Dragon's not going to bother with the seashell, but this is sort of an extra seashell in Wolfos' route where she's just going to drop down here and get this one in D7.
That makes sense. Fish ate corn. She didn't jump through it, she jumped over it.
And actually, Dragon's having some trouble with Rooster Skip here. How did Wolfos' Rooster Skip go?
Went flawlessly. She buffered it.
Nice.
And she is of the same mind as me. Who cares about Goomba Surf?
Let's go for the cool
for the
P-hat jump.
safety.
Looks so cool. So easy.
Sweet.
Nails it.
All you guys saving your 15 seconds by doing Goomba Surf, you're all insane.
That's more like 10.
See? It's not worth it in my opinion. It's all RNG.
I mean, it depends who you ask. You know, like it's worth it, but I wouldn't blame runners for not going for it.
So if you eat corn, you get the height by tricking the game into thinking that you're falling off a ledge. Thus super jump. And Wolfos is doing the old strats.
Yeah, she could be shooting it directly down and kind of abusing a weird glitch where there's no boundary on the screen. But this is very quick as well.
We get the dance though.
Yeah, the magic rod dance.
All right, Sagas, don't you start with me. We're not gonna get into this.
Also, I do have to maybe disagree with Sagas there. When I timed it before, it was worth it within 5 tries, but probably depends how quickly you retransition and stuff.
Oh, we might get a high five coming out of the tower.
To answer Nightler, the Dragon's route is the newest one, and well, other than his little mishap around Animal Village, it is the newer route, so it is a good deal faster than WhiteWolfos'.
The high five on the stairs there.
Yep.
What's Dragon doing?
He's skipping the key.
Oh.
I don't think it's faster. But it is cool.
Oh, hey look, the sun's out.
Oh, would you look at that? It's still raining.
Alright, Wolfos getting her fishman picture. And then she'll be heading over to Armos Maze to get her key. Like I said, her biggest trial in this is going to be transit.
Yes, and Sega's in chat confirming what I've said.
Thanks, pal.
Wolfos accidentally entering that tunnel again.
Well, Dragon did it too. Both of our runners have done it thus far.
Yeah. But yeah, so she's now heading over to Dungeon 6, which is her last dungeon. But we're going to see her now going for the Armos Knight to get the key, like Dragon already did.
Honestly, I think Wolfos is slightly behind now.
Yeah, she is,
because Dungeon 6 is longer than Dungeon 8.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to see.
She's also not getting her seashell. probably gets it on the way back. I hope. Because Wolfos still does not have level 2 sword. Fish eat corn is just bomb triggers. You set 2 bombs within, like, what, 3 or 4 frames of each other? Alright, unlike Dragon, however, Wolfos has the magic rod to just burn Armos Knight alive in his armor.
Yeah, and she actually tried to go for a really neat quick kill where if you time a shot against the wall before, like just before he comes alive, you can get multiple hits against, like, you can push him against that one on the wall, and he'll take multiple hits and die quickly. And she just missed it, but the magic rod kills that boss so quickly.
Alright, so Wolfos now has all 20 of her seashells. Dragon now has his Organ of Evening Calm.
So Wolfos is going to move on to D6, and Dragon's going to move on to D8. So still very close in terms of dungeons. So still hard to tell, but it seems really close.
It's incredibly tight. And according to the sagas, Wolfos has 13 seconds to make up in D6 versus Dragon's D8. So it's worryingly close. Because Wolfos also needs to go get her level 2 sword before she starts D6. And then she needs to run up to the mountains to get to the egg after she clears it. Whereas Dragon just falls down and goes to the swamp. Oh, and she falls to the pit. Both of them fall.
Yeah. Dragon very careful to not talk to Marin there. The game expects you to hookshot across and rescue her, which just results in, 45 seconds at least of talking to her, talking to Terran, talking to the owl. So, but a nice dash jump across skips that. And this is now the point where Wolfos is going to get her level 2 sword. And she's making use of a fun quirk of the game where normally when you enter a warp, the game immediately keeps track of what warp it was so that if you save and quit, it'll put you back there. But it doesn't do that if it's a 2D section. So the Seashell Mansion being a 2D section, she's going to be able to save and quit right after this sword, and she's going to warp right back to that cave that she exited to D6.
Alright. So both of them getting struck by lightning. Wolfos taking the almost full heal. And she's going to be heading into D6 now. Oh man, this is close.
Yeah, this is. And Dragon getting by flame skip. He's almost at the turtle head now. Dragon needs to
Bomb trigger.
Oh, he's just gonna play the song. Well, he messed up screwing them. He messed up killing the moblin, so the moblin had time to shoot an arrow, and the arrow messes up the bomb triggers.
Oh, because it shoots an arrow.
Yeah, so he could have entered the telephone booth to reset that, but he opted, probably correctly, to just play the song instead. And Guy Lafleur, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hold on, wait. I'm...
Oh hey, Wolfos doing the hookshot invincibility glitch. If you're standing right beside a hookshotable object and you hookshot it, for whatever reason, it kind of puts Link into a permanent hookshot state where you're invulnerable, but you can still walk around. So she was able to just let those tiles pass through her.
Alright. Oh, Wolfos missing too on the Wizrobes. Meanwhile, Blano's dead. Yeah, man, this game looks incredibly like that Link's Awakening game on the Game Boy original. It's almost disturbing. Alright. The fear is welling up in my chest for our runners.
Oh, and I just realized that Gilafleur was talking about Final Fantasy Adventure. I forgot it had different names. And yeah,
I looked it up, and
is
it
kind of
actually
similar
came
to this
before Link's Awakening Original.
Yeah, both sort of action RPGs.
I mean, it's a limitation of the console.
So Dragon just making really short work of these D8 bosses with that level 2 sword. Taking only 2 hits where it would have taken Wolfos 4.
Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Oh god.
14, 15.
That is just crazy bad luck for both of our runners with the horse heads.
They're both going to be heading into their bosses respectively at the same time, I think, though.
Yeah.
Wolfos might be a hair later. No.
What is she? Oh. For a second, I thought she did. I thought she hadn't placed the ball in because it was under Link.
Yeah. Same.
Ooh. And Dragon getting a good hot hit as well. 2 cycle.
Oh dear lord. It's come down to transit. Dragon is now ahead.
I think D8 to the egg is slightly faster than Mambo to D8 simply because the Mambo warp itself takes so long.
Yes.
As well the extra menuing, but
Oh boy.
but yeah, it's gonna be close because it's not like her trip to the egg is that long either.
No. It's gonna come down to RNG at the final boss, probably.
Yep, like always, it's gonna come down to blue balls.
Oh god, Dragon, my ears, please.
going for the magic rod despawn thing there.
Mystic Wizard, yes. Wolfos had a 5-second advantage because Dragon had a gun but they crash in Dungeon 1.
Did you say 5 seconds?
No, 5 minutes.
Okay.
Oh god.
Okay, let's see. Dragon got the first instrument at 48.
Ay me.
Yeah, so it looks like Wolfos is only 14 seconds behind Dragon here at starting the cutscene. Yeah,
Well,
it would be a shame if Dragon lost to technical difficulties, but both runners did agree to keep it going, so
he has made a tremendous comeback.
yeah.
You can? I don't know what's over there, though. I think it's just a repeat of the room without the pit, isn't it?
Well, when you enter the egg, you've got the entrance room and then the pit room. If you go to leave the egg, you kind of just leave directly to the exit room. That's because there's 2 exit rooms. If you cross that pit, you kind of enter that secondary exiting room. If that makes sense.
Alright, both of our players missing the tech skip.
But Dragon getting the blob quick kill.
Did he get the blob quick kill?
Yep.
Oh. Alright.
So Dragon, by standing on one of 2 vertical pixels there, was able to charge his sword. And normally the blob should not take damage from your sword, but in that range, he was actually able to get all 3 hits on that blob with his charged sword, rather than needing to use the powder. And now he's on Aghanim, which will shoot 2 reflectable shots, and then 50-50 chance of blue balls that don't reflect, and the reflectable balls after that point.
Wasn't 50-50 for Dragon, that's for sure.
Yeah, was that 0 for him?
That was none.
Yeah, that was great. Super quick kill on the Moldorm there. Level 2 sword makes it easy. Ganon's easy with the level 2 sword. Landbolus doesn't exist. And now we're on to the final phase, Deathel, which... Fun little Easter egg, I assume is an Easter egg. The final boss phase takes a single hit from the boomerang. Normally 16 shots from either the arrow or the bombs, but 1 from the boomerang.
And Dragon is clear. Good lord, man.
Yeah, that was a comeback for him. Oh, and Wolfos unfortunately lining up poorly for that yellow ball and missing it.
We could. It's. I personally don't like the trick. GG to Dragon. His timer's still running.
Well, he's finished on SRL, which is all that counts. He finished with an SRL time of 1:36.05. Well, I just call it an Easter egg because it's just a funny little... I don't know, it's just a funny little thing to be able to kill the final boss in a single hit. It's probably not the right thing to call it.
So, do we want to see if either of them want to come in?
Yeah, of course. I'm not sure if Dragon's looking to join us. And that's that for Wolfos as well. Also finishing off the boss with the boomerang.
My god. Alright, so what were their times on SRL? What was the difference?
So Dragon finished with a 1:36.05 and Wolfos finished with a 1:37.09. And I have to assume that